Hi guys, so welcome to another pick a card, and this one is going to be what your Akashic Records want to tell you about Uranus square Saturn throughout 2021. This is going to be like one of the most major, let's say, the background tone to the whole of 2021 from an astrological perspective. Obviously there's lots of other things happening as well, but this is kind of one that really, it's almost like the tree trunk, and then other astrological transits like branch off that. So this is something to be really, really mindful of. And we're going to do three options. So this is option number one. This is option number two. And then this is option number three. Okay, so just have a feel into it. What we're going to do is, as always, we'll channel with these stones from the Shamanic Meze. Then in the extended reading, we'll also channel with the crystals to get additional information. And throughout this reading, when my guides just give me random insights, I'm going to write them down on these different cards that I've got. And then we will also go into these in the extended. So we're just going to kind of shake it up a little bit. If you want the extended reading, you don't have to purchase this one. All this is I'll send a link, and then you'll just have to, I don't know, sign up for something or whatever, like with your email, and then I can send you the extended readings for all of them through that. But anyway, let's go. So first of all, feel into this. This is for message number one with this tiger's eye crystal. This is actually, I want to see if you can get like the shiny. I love how tiger's eye does this. Okay, this is for message number two. Feel into this stone. And then this is with this crystal. I can't remember what this is called, so I'll just write it. It's so pretty though. And then this is for message number three with the pyrite crystal. Okay, so you just feel into yourself with that. Obviously, you just need to use your own intuition for this, because these are channeled messages. So obviously they'll be general while I try and make them as specific as possible. The best way that I'll try and do this is I'll pick up on the energetic signature of what is going on for each pile. Then I'll try and give you the most extreme version of that energetic signature. And then you can work out where yours is within that. So if I give the most obvious example, then you can apply that to your own situation and see where you're at with it. You may also, because some people message me this, what if I have more than one number that's coming up for me, like two different piles or whatever. Totally go with it in your intuition. And my guides have told me that, to be honest, the best way for people to make these messages as personalized as possible is really maybe sometimes just to mix them up, because you'll hear some stuff that resonates, some stuff that doesn't. And if you get that on a whole range of the different piles, by the end of it, you've kind of created your own reading of all the bits that resonated from the different piles. Also be mindful of this. This will be relevant for the whole of 2021. So you might find that the relevant messages change when you come back to it, let's say in 3 months' time, if you came back to the same video. So my videos are literally designed to do that, so that you can get a certain message at one time and then another message at another time. So essentially these readings can evolve with you as you're evolving and changing and different situations are occurring. So just know that's the intention behind these readings, all of the readings that I do. Anyway, cool. Let's go into pile number one. Okay, hi guys, this is for everybody that chose pile number one as holding their answers. Like I say, we'll channel into this one first, and then we'll do this other one in the extended. So let's just see what is going on. So what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about 2021 to do with the Saturn Uranus square? Okay, so instantly what I'm getting with this is that if you're choosing this pile, there's something really significant about Saturn for you during this time period. And I'm getting, the first words that I got was all about building. And I saw the number 22 as well. So that's like the master builder number. So basically what your Akashic Records really want you to know as well is that because this transit on the whole it's very dynamic, okay? And really you can see it as dynamic or you can see it as destructive. And it's all about being able to be almost like, I'm seeing like a ninja. So somebody being really, really nimble and almost like jumping from stone to stone. And as soon as they jump onto the next stone, the stone that they'd previously just come from almost gets swallowed up by the ground and water. So it's really about you being able to be nimble and light-footed and super flexible. But you need to do this with like a Saturnian quality. So kind of like, it's funny because Saturn's got more of like a very stable, kind of more fixed energy to it. And what my guides are showing you is that internally you need to develop that really stable, sort of like fixed, almost lattice. So I'm seeing like crystals all within you that are all built up. And it's almost like you've got certain beliefs and certain attitudes and certain thoughts that run through your being, which ultimately make like a really strong, solid structure within you. And it's important that you have that solid structure over this next year. So despite things being at times unpredictable and highly dynamic, because you have that internal like stability and internal structure that's very, very solid, it means that you're able to move like that ninja from place to place to place, or scenario to scenario, or changing and being flexible and still being able to build, because it's almost like you've got this really good idea about timing. And for you to get the most out of timing during this 2021 with this transit, your Akashic Records are saying that when you're really solid internally with what you want, why you want it, who you are, all of that kind of thing, and you've got a very positive mental attitude to do with yourself, when things get very changeable in your external reality in whatever way that might be, you are able to it's almost like you're able to not get overwhelmed by it, because you've got that solid anchor within you, and therefore you're able to use your mind to be very, very practical and logical about what needs to happen next, because of that internal stability that you have. So if you start to feel overwhelmed at some points, you need to remember that one of your anchor points for 2021 to do with the Saturn Uranus energy is that you've got like a really solid understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you are and your strengths and qualities, because this will give you like a real groundedness, and that groundedness will allow you to be able to like move through sometimes disruptive scenarios or situations. And this is just really, really important. And actually as well, I even think this looks a little bit like an eye. And obviously this is literally the tiger's eye version stone. And I do kind of feel like it's like it's you really being able to see things as they are, and not maybe what you're not going to sugarcoat how you see things. If you see things as they actually are, you'll also be in a position to be really, really grounded and have all the information that you need to make the best decisions to move forward. And that's really, really important. Something about seeing things as they are and not having to be super light or like, oh no, everything's amazing and it's all wonderful and all that sort of thing. But equally not being like, oh my goodness, it's all rubbish, it's terrible, it's awful. It's just being completely honest with what is happening. And that kind of like honesty becomes very, very grounding. And then it's almost like you're being more responsible for your reality because you're seeing it as it is, which is a very Saturn type of thing. And then because of that, you're able to use Uranus's ability to be almost like maverick and have genius ideas about stuff. And that's the best way for you to implement basically the Saturn energy and this Uranus energy, so it really, really works for you. So being really grounded, really honest, really practical, being responsible for things as they are, so that then you can get the insights about how to move forward and be dynamic with this Uranus energy, which will be unpredictable, but actually will offer many opportunities if you can hold yourself together internally. You'll then be able to be quite dynamic and diverse and almost like have that kind of like genius type of ideas and approaches to situations in then your external reality. So internal Saturn solid, external Uranus maverick, taking sometimes potentially radical moves forward in your life, but from a place of certainty and consistency within you. So that's what I'm getting there. Right, let's see. So, what do your Akashic Records want to tell you about the Saturn Uranus square? Whoa. Oh wow, we will take that. There's 3. Actually, we'll leave it like that. Already your spread is kind of having this very kind of like structured, it's sort of very evenly spaced out, but at the same time, it's an odd number, 3. So once again, that stability of the structure here makes me think of Saturn, but then the 3 also makes me think of more, non-even, which is more like that Uranus energy. So you do actually feel like there's quite a blend. Now, I have this one here. I love these cards, they're so unique, which actually is a very Uranus type of energy. And this is it is, for everybody anyway, it would be really useful to tap into your uniqueness. What is uniquely you and authentic to you? Anyway, let's go with this. This says this card is Dream. So, the first thing I got drawn to is that red butterfly there. The red makes me think that root chakra, so that stability again, but obviously the butterfly is all about transformations. This lotus flower and all of this makes me feel as well that you guys are definitely going to be, things are going to come up for you, which almost like on a spiritual soul type of level, are going to require you to step up. And it's 2 things, right? If you are the group within this pile 1 that is more prone to be emotional, it's actually about you being actually way less emotional to situations. It's not that you're going to suppress your emotions, but it's just that you're going to find a way to work with your emotions. So it's almost like you're processing them internally, like acknowledging them and working through them on an internal level. So then in your physical reality, you don't come out with those same emotional outbursts or anything like that, whatever it might be. Equally, if you're in the other camp where say like you're naturally more logical and linear and you don't really tend to put so much emphasis on your emotions, I actually see that actually part of your spiritual development with this is situations and things will occur that will encourage you to step into your emotional energy more, and you'll be surprised. Some people that aren't emotional think that emotions can be chaotic, they can be unstabilizing and all of that, which is totally true for sure. However, usually when you're somebody that isn't so naturally emotional, you already have an ability to process emotions in a much more grounded way. And so actually, if you express your emotions more, you won't find that it will add more instability into your reality. You'll actually find that it gives you more stability because you'll suddenly be open to yourself and other people and situations in a way that actually life means it can give you more. So I'm kind of seeing 2 pathways for that, depending on which way you work. But I do also feel, what did I say again? Dream. I just feel like there's potentially a lot of flow coming. And I did actually feel this when I was channeling into the stone too, because it's kind of like, how would I say it? It's like, the more mature and responsible you are, the more that you'll be able to make use of this Uranus maverick type of energy. And I do really feel like being responsible and like being very grounded is going to be a really big part of allowing you to make the most out of this. My guides are also saying as well, if you're somebody that's already really quite responsible and mature, it's then about you actually being, I'm getting you expressing and taking more responsibility for your emotions through how you actually express them rather than repress them. So there's like different things that are going off there for different people depending on what they do. So now anyway, let's see what these are. I'm going to read reverse because I think Uranus energy like flicks things up, turns things upside down, spins them on the head. So we will go for the whole lot. So we have 5 of Pentacles. We have the Lovers in reverse. Oh wow, and we have the Devil. Big energies. Right, and then let's see here. We have 7 of Earth, 8 of Fire, 10 of Air. That's interesting, right under the Devil. So that's really positive. And we have Justice in reverse. These cards are so cool. I absolutely love them. Okay, so just give me a minute while I'm going to feel into all of that. Put this one to the side because we'll talk about that one later. So what do your Akashic Records want to tell you? Let's see. Okay, so I'm having quite a lot of different messages coming through and they're a bit scattered, but we're going to go with it. That might just be really this Uranus energy as well, because as much as Saturn wants to ground things and make them structured, Uranus wants to shake things up, break things up, you know, radicalize things and really stimulate things all in a sudden. So what I'm really getting here, first of all, with these two is with the 5 of Pentacles and the 7 of Earth. Number one, 5 of Pentacles, it's really, really important that you are doing things that are authentic to you, Uranus, and doing things in a tribe where you feel that you belong. You know, you've really got to make sure that you don't put yourself into situations where you're going to feel like you don't belong, either because you're not understood. Actually, that's a big part of it. I think a lot of it will be that internally you might not feel understood, and that will make you feel isolated in some way. So, you know, if ever you start to get yourself into those situations, you really have to have a think about it and contemplate and see why this is coming up and what you can do to change this pattern. Because I see a lot of changing patterns so that you're getting yourself into situations so that you feel like you belong, like you feel part of a tribe, you feel connected to people that really understand you and get you, even if they might be quite different to you. Because I think often, well, my guides are just showing us that, like, you know, tribes aren't necessarily about everybody thinking and feeling the same thing and being very similar, but it's more that these are tribes that understand and respect each other. So you could have different opinions, different belief systems, different everything, but you collectively as a group respect and see the value in the other members' different points of views and different perspectives. And that's what's also going to allow you to move forward in directions that actually give you some big breakthroughs in your life, like psychologically, spiritually, and even in actual physical reality. But that's something that's going to be developing over the entire year. So it's also going to be something as well about internally, you actually gaining more peace between opposing points of view or perspectives or belief systems that you have inside of you. And obviously we all do have that. It's like also just part of how we grow, I suppose, on some level. But there's going to be times of contemplation so that you're starting to almost like call back fragmented parts of yourself so that everything blends together and everything feels one and feels part of a bigger group. And that'll happen internally within your thoughts and your feelings and everything like that, as well as externally. So that's something that I can really see coming through. But I think it's also about being open to that as well. So anytime that you do feel that sort of being left out in the cold, feel isolated, or essentially just feeling misunderstood, or that you're not being heard, then it's just about just going back in and reflecting in on yourself, like, but what is this really showing me about me? You know, what can I do internally to, first of all, sort of bridge opposing thoughts and feelings within me, and then how can I go about making different choices in my physical reality, which then means that I get the reflection of other people understanding me and listening to me, etc., etc. And also, please remember, with this Uranus energy and the Saturn, it is actually about, in its highest potential, what the Akashic Records is just saying in general, is it's also about finding the beauty and the value in different points of view. Even if you don't believe in all of those, somebody could have a point of view, but you might find that 30% of it, although it doesn't change your point of view, 30% of it you can actually use to help progress your own psychology, your own ways of moving forward, and all of that kind of thing. So there's something about that going on. Yeah, so that's just something to be really, really mindful of. Also, one of my guides is just saying, something about a message from someone that's unexpected. Sorry, these are just little notes for me. So we'll also go into that, into the extended with that. That's something around this tribe thing as well, something about being understood, misunderstood, something like that, but we'll go into that. Now also, obviously, with this Lovers reverse right next to the Devil, this is really, really interesting. It's kind of like, and I'm also sorry about this noise, I think loads of people are doing home improvements with lockdown, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Just background noise, that's all. Do you know, I'm also getting pulled here to the Justice. So this will be different things for different ones of you, remember, but there's very much something about connections that were made for you in 2018 and 2019. They could be work, they could be relationship, they could be friends, they could be anything like that. There's something about it which is going to go through a process, and not quite a transformation, but there's going to be a bit like what we were saying here about understanding different points of view and different perspectives, okay, and it brings some kind of like collaboration. There's something about that that's going to happen, because I can see that there's some unfinished business, and you guys need to feel into intuitively who or what that feels like, but there's definitely been unfinished business, or it's not even just unfinished business, but there's a maturation process that's been going on to do with whatever this connection or sort of, because the Lovers is often about blending things together, and I do really like this Lovers card, because although it's in reverse, you can see it's Beauty and the Beast. So actually beauty is very different to our concept of a beast, but it's like them coming together in unity. And again, that's this idea, I think, as well, about bringing together and harmonizing different points of view and different perspectives. There's something about that that's going to move things forward. And if there has been some form of unresolved issues or things not said that needed to be said, or things that you still regret or hold on to from the past to do with a connection or a situation, I can see that the way Saturn and Uranus are going to encourage situations on an internal level first of all, so a breakthrough on an internal level first of all, which will allow you to go into this situation again with this person or the scenario or the pattern, whatever it is, so that actually you can work it through to a higher level of awareness, which ultimately will bring more stability, and at the same time it's going to break some long held pattern that you've had to do with either relationships or whatever this situation is. It's going to really, and it's going to very quickly and suddenly with that Uranus energy break up that pattern and change it around. And I can see that as well, because under here we have the 8 of Fire. So I can see that that means that there's just going to be radical movement. And it's under the Lovers card, so to do with the connection. But by the way, there's also something unseen to do with this, my guides are saying. Just 1 minute. Unseen with the Lovers. So we should totally check out that as well in the extended. But anyway, and then also I can see this here too, with the Devil card underneath the 10 of Air. This also tells me that the Devil card feels very much like there's a restriction, but that you're actually going to have to face that restriction head on during this time period, or life's going to bring you situations. It might not even be with the person coming back or the situation reoccurring again, but it might just be you going over it in your own mind, or something happens very similarly with somebody else or another situation, which then also allows you to work through this. It will be different for different ones of you, so you'll just have to feel intuitively for which one that is. But either way, it comes up again for you to properly face it, and for you to basically completely change your belief systems to do with whatever meant that you were feeling left out in the cold and misunderstood. And then that again makes sense why there is such a pull for you to almost for you to get very, very strong and secure internally to do with yourself with that Saturn energy. So then it allows you to do things very radically differently in your own life, which will create different scenarios. And like I say, from this very beginning thing, that thing about emotions, or obviously being emotional and allowing your emotions to come out and be expressed, or actually expressing your emotions internally and then allowing you to express yourself very differently in physical reality. Either which way, whichever one you were in the beginning, there's something big about that that allows all of this kind of here transformation to play out. And it's like I'm seeing for the people that are... I have to say as well, I can see a Z here. This is shouting out to me. I don't know if you can see this here. The energy of a Z always makes me think of parallel lives, but also interdimensional. So I feel as well, if this is something to do with a connection, and even if it's not to do with a person, it could be to do with a situation or a pattern like we've discussed before. I really feel there's something where you guys, or the situation, although you haven't been much in contact, or you haven't had that situation reoccur again, you've both been like going parallel to each other. And at some point during this transit, there's going to be an interception where you both get back into contact, get back into communication, so that things can actually move forward, and you can both develop and change your own psychology and get rid of any resistive patterns or old dynamics that might have been playing out, which then liberates your entire thing and actually makes you feel very much part of a group, and like it's safe to open up, it's safe to express yourself, or it's safe for you to say what you need to, and because you feel safe when you're saying what you need to, you don't feel the same amount of overwhelming emotion because you feel safe and held in that space. I'm really, really feeling about that. Also, please bear in mind, for some of you, this will be a relationship. For some of you, this will be a situation. So it could be a thing at work. It could be something to do with money. It could be something to do with a life purpose. It could be something to do with health. It could be any of these things. And bearing in mind, for some of you, it will play this pattern on multiple areas of your life as well. So I actually think that that is super exciting. Okay, let's see. So... we're just going to pull a couple more cards so we can get some more information. We love these ones, by the way. They're amazing. Let's get some astrology. And then let's get an archetype. Okay, so let's see what we have. So we have child and nature. That's such a pretty card. Rabbit, that makes me think of fertility and growth. Something that you've long desired in your heart, you actually having more of an open heart to it. That is something about this as well. But anyway, we'll go into that in a minute. Oh wow, we have animals. That's so interesting because we have animals on here. This is absolutely telling me that you guys are going to be softening your energy field and opening up your energy field. Some of you might already be very soft and very open, but I guarantee there'll be an area in your life where you feel like you have to protect yourself, or you can't fully express yourself, or you feel left out in the cold. And that's something that's going to be coming to a completely new resolution in your life. But we will go into that in more detail. Oh wow, wildness, electricity. This is Uranus energy, full on. Uranus energy, all coming out of the heart again. This makes me feel like a real opening, and this, anything where you felt restricted, that's absolutely going to be coming to an end. Like I say, we'll go into that in more info. And then we have Libra energy, so that puts in as well, again with that Lovers. And here, oh wow, 10th house. So 10th house, this is something about how you're seen in your external reality. Okay, so we're going to go into all of those cards in the extended. We'll also channel into the Tiger's Eye crystal to see what more information we can have. And these two messages that came up for you about, there's a message from someone unexpected, and there are different ways in that's coming through. And there's something unseen within the Lovers card that we need to go into more detail. So if you feel like any of that resonates with you, I'm not going to do this where this is a paid extended. I'm just going to do where, I don't know, I'll just put a link below and then you'll be able to get it. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So hope to see you in extended. If not, see you soon. Bye. So hi guys, this is for everybody that chose message 2 for holding the message. So we'll channel into this one and then we'll leave this one for the extended reading. So we'll go into that one after. So I'll put that there. So cool. So let's just see. What do your Akashic Records want to tell you? 2021 to do with the Saturn Uranus square. Okay, so this is a pile. Instantly I'm getting like really big shifts that are going to happen for this pile. And I'm really being shown the eclipses, and particularly the eclipse in June. I can't remember exactly which one it is. There's only one in June, but anyway, the one that's happening in June, there's something important about that. And I'm also getting that actually Mars is really important for this pile too. Throughout 2021, Mars is like really active, just because it engages with a lot of the outer planets, which means that there's big changes coming. And because I'm being shown all of this, I can just feel like there's really big changes coming. I just really feel like as well, this is very... Pile 1, I instantly got this thing about Saturn being really important. For this pile, I'm really getting the concept that Uranus energy is really, really important. And I'm just really getting this thing about like lightning changes in your own consciousness. And also kind of like radical shifts to do with your own identity. And I'm also seeing that wherever you have Chiron in your birth chart, there's something about this that is going to be aspected in such a way that it really is... Places where you felt vulnerable or like you're not good enough or you're not worthy, that's radically going to change over this year, or at least that's the highest potential for you guys that have chosen this pile. So you might want to check out where Chiron is. I'm also getting as well, like with Chiron gets messages from the outer planets and the inner planets, and the way that my guides are showing me this is that you guys in particular are going to be getting a heightened awareness of your own intuition, psychic abilities during this time period. The records are also saying that it's really important. Oh my god, I'm getting like right trap pain while we see this. My guys are saying that it's really important that you guys don't allow yourself to get overloaded, like or overwhelmed in some way. So it's really, really important to... You guys need to really have routines in place that allow you to create your own stability and like a really, really grounding. So just some of the ways that I just ground. I have a grounding mat that I sleep on, an earthing sheet. I use crystals when I feel overwhelmed. Having a shower, believe it or not, can be really good at like grounding yourself and like just discharging excess energy from yourself. Exercise really helps me do this as well. Eating really healthily helps me do this. All of these things I find really useful. Coffee, so anything which overly stimulates you might want to just be mindful of that and maybe look at reducing that at certain times when you're feeling overwhelmed in ways. Yoga can also help move energy, because this reminds me of, it's not like you guys are going to have a Kundalini rising, but it's kind of this thing about your energetic body is going to be getting like a massive upgrade. So because of these insights and awarenesses that you're going to have over this time period, I mean, it's just really going to impact you, but for sure in a positive way, and it's going to lead to really great developments. But you just need to make sure that you understand how to handle that kind of influx of almost like energy into your system. So that's just really important. So you just have a feel into stuff yourself and see where what you can do that makes you feel more grounded, because we'll all be different and we'll be unique, and whatever that is, you need to bring some of that into your situation. I was really getting my right trap. In fact, it's still kicking off right now. So the right side of the body is very much to do with those masculine energy qualities, things like responsibility, accountability, autonomy, respect, discipline, routine, money, finances, career, life purpose. All of that is that kind of energy. So you might find there's a real influx of stimulation within that area of your life if you chose this pile. Oh God, it really is like so. Just give me 1 minute. What else is it saying? It's also just really about for some of you as well, it might be that you've always carried a lot of responsibility to do with those themes that we've discussed, and it's actually about you distributing that responsibility in a different way over this time period as well. So for some of you where you feel like you don't always take responsibility with things, it's about you obviously working with that and integrating that by actually accepting more responsibility, because it's going to bring you amazing things. And it's very much going to bring you amazing things through consistently doing stuff, consistently applying yourself, Saturn, but it's going to start happening in your life because of some radical realization to do with yourself, or a situation that occurs that means that you have to take more responsibility than you usually would, Uranus energy. But this will be really, really positive, particularly if you balance it up with what we were saying about making sure that you ground yourself and you've got your really grounded routines. Also as well, I'm getting the vibe of like parent energy as well. So for some of you, obviously this is hugely generalized, but it's like that sort of energy sort of coming more into your life in some kind of way. So I suppose either, becoming a parent, or harmonizing your energy with your parents more, or really being an authority to other people, or people looking up to you for guidance in some kind of way. It's something around that sort of energy as well that's kind of coming in, and obviously it'll be different for all of you, so you must need to intuitively feel into that for yourself. But obviously that kind of energy is the sort of vibe that I'm feeling coming in, and that I'm seeing that it's really going to really radically change who you are and how you see your own self-worth. But be open to lots of insights and intuitions coming through, because it's all going to be massively guiding you. And totally check out where your Chiron is. So now, let's just get some more cards about what all of this is. So, and also as well, my guides are saying that if any of you do find that you suddenly start to get into a situation where you feel additional responsibility and like burden coming onto you to do with any of these things that we talked about, ultimately to do with areas in your life to do with responsibility, or where you are responsible for other people in whatever way that might be, I'm just getting this really clear message. Before taking any action, just make sure that you've got all the facts that you require, and then make sure that you give these facts in a balanced, in a very balanced, emotionally stable way. So if you originally have a strong stimulus to whatever this is, let that stimulus calm down before you then make the real assessment. Then after you've made the real assessment, then think about what the action is and then take the action. So there's something about making sure that you don't become too impulsive with all of this Uranus energy that's coming into you, and that you still apply very much Saturnian energies of like waiting for the right time, being grounded, practical, logical, doing things in a consistent, slow but steady, stable way. There's something about that that's really, really important. Your spread's coming out totally different pattern to pile 1. But to be fair, Uranus energy is really quite different to Saturn energy, which is also one of the reasons why this is kind of like such an interesting transit, because it really is. Interestingly, two opposing energies sort of coming together. Saturn's more about routine, discipline, like restricting things. Uranus is all about no routine, rebellion, like radical, unpredictable things. So when these two energies are communicating, like they will be, and a square is almost like an intense conversation. that doesn't have to mean it's a bad, intense conversation, because it could be a highly passionate conversation. It could be a highly sexual conversation. It could be like a highly mentally stimulating conversation. In the same way, it could be an aggressive one. It could be a disagreeing one. But there's many ways this energy can work, and you can choose how to make it work ultimately. But yeah, there's something... yeah, it'd just be really interesting, these energies coming together, basically. Let's just see. Right, let's start with these. I'm going to read things reversed if they come out reversed, because Uranus energy is unpredictable and radical, so we should allow all of that to come through. Let's see where we're starting. Starting from the bottom. Queen of Swords. Interestingly, I do literally feel that goes neutral. The Emperor in reversed, Ace of Wands upright, Six of Coins. By the way, you know, the Emperor in reversed, already that's coming in about that feeling that I was having on my right traps, of like feeling like a burden of responsibility, or like additional responsibilities coming through. But because it's right next to the Ace of Wands, I can see that this will bring a really positive opportunity, which is going to start a very rewarding, fulfilling pattern going forward. I just wanted to get that out there straight away. Six of Coins in reversed, the Hierophant upright, the Hermit. So we have the Hermit in reversed. That's interesting. Ten of Fire in reversed and Two of Air in reverse. So just give me a moment. I mean, literally, we have almost everything in reverse apart from the Ace of Wands and the Hierophant. For some reason, again, this just tells me that there's a lot of Uranian energy at play, like I picked up at the beginning. Because, you know, Uranus is a planet where I always think it like flips things on its side. It turns things upside down, essentially. So once again, that just tells me that that energy is coming through. So please make sure that you ground yourself. It's really important. But with these two cards being the only two cards that are upright, I see this is where stability is going to be coming through. I actually instantly want to just get a bit more information about both of those. We're not actually going to read these reversed, whether they come out reversed or not, so we'll put them in the neutral position. Let's see. Oh wow, so Two of Cups is with the Ace of Wands, and the Hierophant, wow, comes with the King of Wands. Right. Okay, I just want to let that settle. We're going to go into the whole entire thing here. So instantly as well, I'm really drawn to this, the Hermit in reversed. This is really interesting because I remember when I was doing reading the Akashic Records for what 2021 wanted to tell people, the Hermit came out so many times, and obviously 2020 ended up being this whole thing with lockdown and all the rest of it. So I find it really interesting that the Hermit is in reversed here. I do really feel like this means that, just let me feel into this properly. Let me see what my guides say. Okay, so one that's interesting, one of the things that my guides are saying is really what your Akashic Records are saying is, forget about if you're going to be more sociable, if there's lockdown, if there's not lockdown. What this card is really kind of saying is that you've actually gone through a transformation process over 2020 because of the fact that you've spent way more time in such a smaller environment, okay, where you're not interacting with as many people. And there's something that's occurred, or some realizations that you got over that time period, which you're now going to start putting into action in 2021. And I can really, really see this coming on. But your Akashic Records are saying that in order for you to put this new action in place in 2021, you really are going to have to embrace the unpredictable nature of life and of your own thoughts and feelings and emotions, and you need to be going with it. I'm really getting as well this with the Queen of Swords, and I really felt like it was in this kind of horizontal position. Don't allow yourself to overthink. This is so not about an overthinking energy. I mean, you've got the Two of Air, so the Two of Swords in reverse. So I really feel like, obviously this can mean like different decisions that need to be made, but because it's in reverse and it's not right next to the Ten of Fire in reversed, I kind of feel like situations are going to occur where you're going to feel like there's many decisions and choices that you need to make. And I think one of the things that your Akashic Records is saying is, don't overthink them. Don't overthink them. Actually allow yourself to go with your instinctive response. Now, I'm not saying intuitive response. I feel like that's different. But go with your instinctive response. And you know how we said in the beginning when I was channeling about the Mars energy being really quite important for you guys as well. There's something about Mars which is really instinctive, impulsive. And I think the thing is, you've learnt things about yourself during 2020 because of, like, you know, the sort of lockdown situation that we're in. And actually now it's really about you applying what you've learned and trusting that what you've learned has very much got almost like, this is crazy image, but I'm seeing this image of like all the insights and awarenesses that you're having worked on you on a cellular level. So it changed you from the inside out, quite literally. And because it's changed you on such a deep level and over such like a long, slow process of 2020, it's meant that that kind of awareness and insight is very much fully integrated within you, so you can trust what your body feels and the impulses it gives you to do with things more in 2020, because there's something about you knowing more about who you are, and therefore you can trust those impulses. But just going back to what we did say here, it's really important not to let yourself get overwhelmed with stuff, because otherwise it will be difficult to understand what is an impulse and what is feeling overwhelmed and like a reaction to something. So just be mindful about that. But I can see that, you know, there's been, I don't even know why, because it's not like I'm necessarily pulling this up from the cards, but my guys are just sort of saying, like, you know, trusting yourself is really big for this pile. Like really, really trusting yourself is really, really important. And actually, when you do trust yourself more to do with things that you're doing, decisions that you're making, that whole burden and responsibility I was saying we're talking about on this right side of my trap to do with those masculine energy qualities, you know, you won't feel that same amount of burden and responsibility if you feel confident in you and the choices and decisions that you're making in your life, particularly to do with all of those things that we talked about originally, those masculine energy themes. I'm just getting that is really, really important. I am actually getting just this here as well. 6 of coins in reversed. 6 of coins, I always think of this energy of give, receive, share and grow. It's about what you have to contribute is the words that I'm getting with this. Don't feel, I'm really getting like, share with others like the true you. If you have some amazing stories to tell of your experiences that are really rich and deep, and you know that people would be blown away by them in some ways, don't shy away by holding that stuff in. Like, share it, because you're here to really contribute that to physical reality. And it's like that thing we were talking about as well, about having that confidence within you and who you are, so you're not second guessing yourself. And my guys are saying that some of you will think, no, I am really confident and I am this, that and the other, but it's kind of like, yes you are, but guess what, there's a whole nother level of confidence due to that Chiron energy working even more wherever you do feel inadequate. And I think I do really get the feeling of this as well. Like, for some of you, it will be where you are genuinely really successful in physical reality in certain ways, in whatever way that might be. But some of you have been doing that as almost like, not a compensation mechanism, but you do it so that it helps you feel like it makes you feel of value, and it makes you value yourself, and it makes you feel like you are good enough. That's it. It makes you feel like you are good enough when you are so successful in physical reality in those ways. But the thing is, it's like, you won't need to use your physical success as a way to verify to yourself that you are good enough by the end of this year, is what I'm getting. Because you're going to start contributing to other people, to life, to whatever it is, in a different way, which actually is going to make you see yourself in a whole new light. And don't get me wrong, you'll still continue to be successful. In fact, a lot of you will become even more successful then, because you're kind of doing it from, you're doing it from like a completely different way. And this is so mental, but this is what my guides are saying, right? This is the image that I'm getting. I'm getting the image because it reminds me of all of these things coming up, of the stock markets, right? And the analogy is this, where let's say if you were a stock market trader, I know you're not, but it's an example. Some of you might be, but you know, this is an example. You're a stock market trader, and usually you always make money off a bullish market, right? And that's always the way that you make your money, and it's been your routine, and it makes you feel good, and you've been really successful, but you've identified yourself now as that, as like, I'm the trader that always makes money off a bullish market, right? What's going to happen this year is it's like, oh no, now I'm going to start to make money off a bear type of market. Can I just tell you this right now? I don't actually know what all of these words mean. I'm just saying what my guides are saying. It's like the bullish thing is like when everything's maybe moving. The bearish thing is when things are maybe like slower and going down. So it's like, I think you're gonna start making progress in areas where usually you would have thought that would mean that you were being unsuccessful, or that was an avenue in life that wouldn't lead you to success, but it's actually going to start leading you to success, because you're going to be starting to flip your perceptions of what success is and what success is not. I really want to highlight here, it's not that anything is necessarily going to change with, you know, you being successful or not, but just your own personal psychology is going to start to change about how you see and how you view success in your life. Like, I'm really, really getting this so strongly. And I just really feel as well like this is going to bring out, I wondered what this was, the Hierophant, because I often think the Hierophant's like a soul contract, and I can really see that this is very much about you have a soul contract in place to own your own power, King of Wands, in a very different way over 2021, and it's going to really radicalize how you are and how you see yourself in life. And I do think in some ways it's going to bring someone or something into your life that is going to be incredibly emotionally fulfilling, all because you no longer see your worth as something which is so materialistic, and you now start to see your worth in a very different way. And that's also because of that Chiron energy that we were talking about. It's changing your perception of self. And I do really feel as well like you guys, I don't know where, obviously you're all very different. I do feel like for some of you, you will have quite strong Aries energy. So Aries ascendant, Aries sun, Aries moon. You could have a very strong Mars in your chart somewhere, or you could have like a very busy first house. If it's not in any of your birth chart, it could be in your solar return chart for 2021 or your progress chart for 2021. But either way, I can really see that sort of Aries energy is quite full on. And then my guys are also telling me that basically the last 6 months of 2020, you'd have been starting to get a lot of these different ideas about who you are and what you are and what you want in life, and things will have started to be coming in. I do think some of that will have been quite challenging at the end or the last 6 months of 2020, but I want you to know that through 2021 you're going to start to reap the rewards of this, but it's really shaking up and around who you are and what you are. I'm also getting this message, just write this down. My writing's so unmessy. Okay, I'm just getting this message from my guys that you're going to start realising you are someone else because of someone else. So we'll also look into that in the extended with this reading here as well. And I'm also getting this message as well. Waiting for movement for something. So we'll go into that into the extended too. But let's just pull some additional cards. Let's see. I feel like this spread is all over the place, but I think that's pretty cool because, like I say, it's just showing this Uranus energy again. By the way, as well, I can really feel like and let me just, this is random, let me just tell you the real like out there psychic stuff with you with this pile. I can feel like there's lots of things that are going on different timelines to do with you. And I don't just mean past lives, I mean future lives, interdimensional lives, all of these different spaces. There's many different things that are sort of occurring over 2021. And it's something about this Uranus energy as well. And so it's almost like you're definitely going to go through time periods where stuff seems to be speeding up massively, and then it seems to be slowing down, and then speeding up massively and then slowing down. And partly my guides are saying that's because when it's speeding up, obviously stuff will be happening in your physical reality, but also on an energetic level, like some of your timelines are going to be merging into one, and the merging into one, almost like wires of electricity all pooling down the same channel. And it's to give you the breakthrough of awarenesses that you need. But then this is also why, once again, this grounding is so important, and having a routine of some kind of level. And I think also, if ever you do feel overwhelmed in some way, just acknowledging that this is what's happening, and it absolutely will pass, and it's absolutely coming with gifts. It's really about changing how you see something, which then changes your life in some way, which is very cool. I really like that. Let's see the archetype card. And then I just really want to pull one of these. I love these because they're so random. Oh, no way, time. And we have literally just talked about timelines of yours, like fading, going in, changing. That's really important then. That's super important, just because I was literally just talking about it before I pulled it as well. Wow. And also, you know, with these two fishes here, this reminds me of like that kind of Pisces unconscious level. And also it reminds me of 12th house. So maybe something for some of you is happening in your 12th house, or if it's not, you've got strong energy to do with some Pisces somewhere in your chart. Some of you that are maybe more in your, let's say, early 40s, something like that, you will, I think, have your, I think it's either your south node or your north node in Pisces. So there's something about that might be significant. So maybe you want to check that out too. But let's just see what's on the other cards. So we have West, completion. Oh, nice. Hearth. That looks really, really nice. Love that picture. So comforting. This is like a random card with nothing on it. And then we have winter and, oh wow, Neptune. Okay, let me just pull one more for this one. No friggin' way. That literally came out in pile 1 as well. So I would imagine there is something about that. But you know what? Maybe also it's just the message that came with that in pile 1 is probably similar for everybody, which is, it really is 2021. It is really important about finding communities that you can be part of. And one of the ways that people find communities is not necessarily because you all think the same or you do the same thing, because that would be the same type of thing as like having everybody the same position in netball or football or whatever. You just wouldn't have a team. So it's generally about finding people where they've got a common goal and they're going for the same type of thing, but they've got different skills and different belief systems within that set. But by being open-hearted and welcoming and accepting of not only yourself but other people's different beliefs and opinions and stuff like that, you'll be able to create something very different in your life, and you'll feel more accepted and a part of humanity, which is such a kind of Aquarian energy. But at the same time, Saturn likes to create things that are that provide resources for many. It's almost like that. Think about a healthy government, you know, like a really, let's say, really healthy government that was really there for the people, and that, you know, worked in a very kind of humanitarian type of way. Like Saturn can be that sort of energy too. So it's about those things coming through. But I also think as well, if any of you see my Instagram, you'll know I love this little Pomeranian called Rupert. He is amazing. And I love animals because they are so accepting of us. Like they have such open hearts. Like they're just amazing. So it's also about you really having that open-hearted energy, and that will allow other people to come into your reality that also have that real open-heartedness. And also because as well with what we were saying, like, you know, it's, you know, these people that will be around you or come into your life, like, they will see the value in you whether you are successful or not. They will respect you whether you're successful or not. I suppose what I'm trying to say is it just won't matter, because they'll see your heart energy and feel your heart energy more than anything that you've created in physical reality. That's really coming through on that. Right, okay, so we have something that's been completed. It looks like something's actually being established there as well. But then at the same point, I think either the completion is the letting go of something, and also with the Neptune here, there's an illusion about something, but at the same time a new reality to step into. So what we'll do is we'll go into the extended, we'll explore that more, we'll obviously see what this crystal also wants to say to you, and we will have a look at what this whole thing is about, waiting for movement with 2021 with this astrology, and realizing you are someone else because of someone else. That riddle, we'll go into that as well. Like I say, I'll leave a link below so that you can get the extended reading. This won't be like you have to pay for this one, but I can't quite work out how I'll do it. I'll sort it out and it'll be in the link below, and hopefully see you on that reading. Cool, bye. So hi guys, so this is for message number 3, for what your Akashic Records want to tell you about the Saturn Square Uranus in 2021. So we will go into channeling the messages from the crystal, love this crystal, in the extended reading with some other things. But first of all, we'll go straight into the stone from the Shamanic Meze. So, what do your Akashic Records want to tell you? Okay, so first of all, what I'm really just, funny enough, I'm really just getting these words, which is purity of heart and freedom of the soul. And what I can instantly pick up from people that chose this pile is you're going to have a really interesting ability to almost like completely restructure how you see freedom within yourself and within your life. And this is going to go through a complete kind of, I'm hearing the words of like a revelation to do with everything to do with freedom, quite literally. And so I'm really feeling like the Uranus energy is strong within this pile. But I'm also really getting with this pile, like it's a real balancing and harmonizing between the two very, very different energies of Uranus and Saturn. And interestingly, both Uranus and Saturn can be seen as the ruler of Aquarius. Like Saturn was the traditional ruler of Aquarius before everybody knew about the outer planets. But once we start to know about the outer planets, then Uranus became the ruler of Aquarius. So, and there's something about you guys and that actually holds this very Aquarian energy. Now, you may have it as a sun sign, moon sign, rising sign. You may have a very busy 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius, or you may have lots of planets in Aquarius. Equally, this might be something that's just more transitionary. So it might be in your solar return chart this year, or it may be a part that your soul is progressing into with your progress chart, or it may be none of the above. But interestingly, in shamanic astrology, there's this thing. By the way, I don't major in shamanic astrology. It's just something that I just remember learning about or reading somewhere, which was that in shamanic astrology, if you're a guy, if you have your Mars in Aquarius, it means that, you know, there's a lot for you to develop and grow with your own consciousness. And the same if you have Venus and you're a female in Aquarius. So whether you're a female and you have Venus there, or you're a male and you have Mars there, it's always meant that there's like lots of things for you to go through and experience, and that often it's later in life that you become successful, because it's almost like you have an advanced set of skills and tools available to you, but these take time to mature, and once they mature within you, they then almost become these superpowers which allow you to achieve a lot as you get older in your life. with that, I'm saying like it's definitely past 30, it's like past 35. You know, once you get past 35 is when you start being able to access these skills, if you have that kind of energy in your chart. Either way, regardless of your chart, I'm picking up this sort of energy. Like there's this whole kind of thing of like, you guys have lots of talents and lots of ability and a very unique way of looking at life, but it has taken, or will take, or is taking, because it depends which group that you're in to do with this frequency is where you're at to do with it, time for you to mature into who you are and your unique identity and the unique gifts and kind of pathway that you have in this life. And like I said, there's a real purity to do with you guys as well. So I feel as well like maybe quite a lot of you have had to detox and purge quite a lot in your life so far. And if you're from the younger generation, so you're between your 20s and 30s, then I actually feel like you living like a healthy lifestyle in alignment with your true beliefs is something that is really important to you, or will become very important to you. So it's kind of that sort of energy that I'm picking up. But what I'm specifically getting for 2021 with this sort of energy is that it really is this place of like balancing extremes within you to create a whole new you, and one that allows you to really work with life in a very physical, practical way, but by applying your unique abilities or mindset or way of looking at things. So maybe some people in this group in the past, they might have felt like they have to squash down their individuality, or they don't feel they're able to express themselves, or they don't feel completely comfortable in a group, or any and all of these sort of things mixed in whatever combination is relevant to you. But there's something about this year that's going to give you the ability to really kind of step into who you are and be able to do it in a way where instead of you maybe feeling like you're fighting physical reality in some way, like you feel like you come up against a lot of resistance either internally or externally, if you have the ability this year to use this very potent, powerful energy of Saturn Square Uranus to really no longer rebel against yourself internally or rebel against something externally in your life, but this time be able to be like super dynamic, creative and inventive internally within yourself as well as externally within your life. It's like you turn any resistance and any feelings of frustration and being trapped and not being free enough or not being able to be yourself, and you're able to completely sort of like detox and purge this and blend this almost like in a very alchemic way to actually create things within yourself and within your life that actually make you feel the complete opposite, that make you feel very free, very liberated, very relaxed to be yourself, very relaxed within groups and people. But there will be like this real transformational process at one sort of point. And I'm definitely getting by the last eclipse in November, you know, you really will have gone through a whole real cycle within yourself, within these areas. And I do feel as well like a lot of you potentially have the ability, or you already are leaders, depending on where you are on the spectrum, like what age. The older ones of you in this group, I think you're already more like leaders. The younger ones in this group, I think you have the pathway to be a leader. And I feel like it's about either stepping more into being an authority in some way at the same time as creating a more balanced, harmonized and compassionate perspective to do with authority figures and authority in general. This is really interesting. Let's get some more cards about everything that's going on. Let's see. I also just feel like there feels something very special about this sort of energy that you guys in particular are holding. It's very, Your Akashic Records are literally saying, in the right place at the right time. I think for many of you, you will actually find at some point during this 2021 that you are literally in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people at the right time. You know, sometimes you meet the right person, wrong timing. Like all of this sort of starts to align up for you. And I just really feel a lot of resistance starts to dissipate. And as the resistance dissipates, you see more and more opportunities coming in. See. Oh, I am going to read reversals in this spread because Uranus energy is turns things upside down, back to front, and because that's part of this this reading, we're definitely going to allow for those reversals to come through. I can tell as well though, my guides are saying any reversals that come out in this pile, they're going to tell me exactly what it means, because it means something very different to what usual reversals would mean. So let's just go with that. I don't really know what that means, but we'll find out. My guides are saying 2 of these. No other group has had 2 of these, but we'll go with that. And I absolutely love these cards. They are so random, but I find them really good for channeling. So let's see what you get. Nurturing. Oh, wow. These almost remind me a bit of like, is it Salvador Dali or something? You know, the artist. Anyway, let's turn these over. Let's see what we get and go from there. So we have Ace of Swords. That was also in pile 2. 6 of Wands in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse. 4 of Coins in reverse. Then we have 8 of Fire. We have 10 of Earth in reverse, the 10 of Pentacles. We have Justice in reverse. So interesting. Pile 2 also had Ace of Swords and Justice in reverse. Oh, and the Chariot in reverse. Cool. So just give me a minute just while I'm going to feel into all of this. See what this means. See what we get. Instantly, I'm getting massively drawn to this card here. The 3 of Fire. You know, I just get this thing about there's just lots of opportunities coming in. But before these opportunities come in, there is a reshuffling in your perception of yourself. Now, this is sounding a little bit like pile number 2, but my guides are reassuring me it's really not like pile number 2. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, you see there's like all of these opportunities, and these actually look like your chakras lining up. Just 1 minute, I just need to ask my guides a few questions. Just give me a sec. Okay, so what my guides are saying is there's so many opportunities coming your way, but the reason why the 10 of Earth is in reversed rather than upright is because there is a bit of a process that you're going to have to go through to get to a lot of these opportunities. They are literally there and they are waiting, but they are also a choice. So depending on the choices and actions and things that you do will depend on how this manifests through. Now you could say, yeah, but isn't that always the way? And yes, it is always the way, but some things are more set in stone, whereas this is way more flexible. And my guides are saying because of that, this is almost like the pile of unlimited possibilities, but it all depends on how much you're willing to change your perception of yourself and your perception of reality. And I'm really getting the word, it is quite literally perception. And it's like my guides are saying that if Mercury is like the almost like Uranus is the higher octane of Mercury. So Mercury, that planet, is all about mind, it's about communication, it's about messages from the gods, so being able to get messages from collective consciousness or cosmic consciousness and channeling them down. But there's something about Mercury that's a little bit of a trickster, and it can complicate things by detail, whereas my guides are saying like the higher octane of Uranus, this is more like the higher mind, like it is almost like your inner genius, quite literally. So the part of your mind that is constantly tapped into cosmic consciousness. And my guides are saying that often happens through our 12th chakra, which is unique for everybody. And there's something about this pile that is actually able to access their 12th chakra, which means that they sit more in that space of energy. Like my guys are saying things like Nikola Tesla. He was another individual that could like pull ideas down from the cosmos in that type of way and come up with very new perceptions of how to see reality and what to do. But the thing is, what my guides are saying is you have all of this ability, but there's something that you need to have a look at. You've got to let go of something, and it's some kind of fear about you being able to see things that maybe you don't want to see. Now, this will mean different things for different people, but the overall metaphor that like my guides are showing me is if you had the ability to see anything and everything, from people's deepest motives to people's greatest joys to people's greatest like pains, if you saw the whole lot, that is a lot to take on board. And also, if you could see that within yourself and your life, and you understood where it was all going, and that some bits were fated and other bits weren't, it's like a huge amount to like take on board and integrate within yourself and all of that kind of thing. And it's like a part of you knows that you have this ability to really perceive things. And this is not a Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy can perceive the depths of people's motives and all of that kind of thing. It's not so much like it's your ability to see the motives of people, but it's your ability to see the future of people and situations, and even your future and even your situations, that in some way can be unconsciously quite unnerving. And I can absolutely say that I completely understand this energy that's getting channeled through, because it's something I think many psychics have to come to terms with, like getting visions of the future 5 or 10 or even longer in advance, and then being like not getting fixated on that future that you're shown. Even though you know that future is going to happen, you've still got to somehow find a way to let go of it and live your life as if you didn't know it was going to happen, even though you do know it's going to happen. And you have to find a space of being okay to sit within that kind of rather bizarre conceptual, I don't know, perception of time and how it works. This is quite a difficult energy, by the way, for me to communicate. So feel into what I'm saying probably, and allow your mind to give you the version of what I'm trying to say, right? Because it will be different for all of you. But anyway, there's some part of you that you guys need to get into a place of letting go of the fear of you really seeing and knowing your future, and also letting go of the fear of the expectations that then come along with you knowing your future and your potential. There's all of this kind of thing that's going on in different sorts of ways. And you know what, sometimes it's this kind of thing of like, deep down inside, you might know something is not great for you or good for you, or you might know that this actually doesn't really feel like it's going to go anywhere, but you do it anyway because, understandably so, we're human, we do just want to live in the moment. We don't always want to have to think that we have to do the thing that's going to be the thing that is for the future and all of these kind of things. I mean, there's many different reasons. It might be comfortable for you to carry on doing what you're doing. There's all of these sort of things that play out. But the real, and I'm getting this word, literal call to adventure to do with this energy in 2021 is you actually being able to let go of your resistance to what you know is true for you in the future, and taking actions that are in alignment with the future that you ultimately know is the best future for you. Okay. I really hope that makes sense, because sometimes when I'm saying lots of stuff, they feel like they channel out, and I can't always remember everything that I've said, and I can feel this is exactly happening with this pile. So I hope it's all coming out right. But this is really what I'm seeing here. And that, you know, with the Justice in reverse, it kind of feels to me like if something has happened to you in the past, and it's different for different people. Let me just channel it. For one group of you, something has happened in the past which has been a wound, and it's been very painful. Because it's been so painful, you've wanted to protect yourself in a certain way. So you've chosen to do a few things which ultimately you know won't take you to your future, but you're scared of going for the future that is your future because you're worried that you might get hurt again. This could be anything to do with a relationship or a life purpose thing or a dream or a goal or a career. It can be anything, right? Or even something to do with a family. Anything. You've got to work out what it is for you. So that's one group of people where you're not wanting to take the actions in alignment with this amazing future because of fear that you might get hurt again, right? Then the other part of you, the other group, is very much something where you're not taking actions against the future that you know is your best future. So you're not going in a different direction to that, but you're sort of stalling, and you're finding it very difficult to fully commit to that future that you know is your best future. Okay, so the net effect is whichever group that you're in, both groups need to look at like releasing the resistance to the bigger picture of your future. This might mean as well, like in the beginning of 2021, or depending on how fast you move, because you'll all be different time frames, but wherever you are in the beginning, there'll have to be this almost like, I see a bit of a reshuffling of certain things in your life to get you on track with that future vision that you know is your future vision. But what my guides are desperate for me to tell you guys, it's gonna feel so much better than you realize when you let go of whatever it is which is not that future vision, and you just take all the steps and actions in alignment with that future vision. So whether this is a change in relationship, or a change in how you relate in that relationship, or this is a change in career path, or this is a change in how you approach the career that you're on, change in job, change of how you approach that job, change of how you connect with your family. It could be anything, right? But this is the sort of vibe that's going on. But it's going to be incredibly, incredibly liberating. And I'm seeing that it's going to open up a whole new world for you. Can you see that person there in white? I think they've just got all of these gifts and incredible things all the way around them. It's almost a little bit overwhelming. It's like you have at your fingertips all of this crazy information and insights about who you are, why you're here, and what's going to give you the most joy, success, money, freedom, everything in this life. And I think this 2021, the Uranus and Saturn, is going to bring up some feelings around all of this. Some is going to feel liberating. And it's going to feel like it's helping you break out of routines that you were stuck in, like the Uranus energy. But then sometimes there's maybe going to be a bit of an internal fear, or a bit more of a restricting, contracting feel, which is that Saturn energy. However, what my guides are literally saying, and my guides haven't mentioned this for any of the other piles, Jupiter is also really important for you guys. And Jupiter does what we call the grand conjunction around about the 19th of December in 2020, but that energy sort of lasts for the next 20 years, and it's in the sign of Aquarius. And we were obviously talking about this Aquarian energy you guys have, and it's really about this Jupiter energy is actually going to add on to that Aquarius energy of really helping to liberate and expand you in the future of your highest potential, in whatever area this might be: relationship, family, money, career, life purpose, success, fame, whatever it is that is your calling, right? Because we all have very different callings, and we often all have a mixture. So that is one of the things that I can literally massively feel for this pile. Definitely just have a look into and feel into, what we were saying here about letting go of the fear of the future that you really truly feel deep down inside is your future. And for some of you as well, my guides are saying there is also a third pile within this pile, as it were. So you've got the ones where taking different action because they're scared of going forward in the way that they know is the highest potential. We got the other pile that was not going against their highest potential, but at the same point not really being able to move to do with it and being a bit stuck. And then there's another pile which is a slimmer pile of all of you, which is where you are actively taking actions to do with your highest potential, but there's some form. And you guys are going to be like, oh, for God's sake, really? There's some form of you that is, it's this energy. Look, she's all like tucked away. She's like cocooning herself and she looks a bit fearful of stuff. There's a part of you that's still holding that energy to do with whatever it is that you're going after. And because you're still kind of holding that kind of protective kind of energy, it's almost like a little bit of a force field repelling the very future reality that is yours and that you are going after. And it's just really about, well, actually, I'm not even going to say, let me pull for some more cards for what you can do to do with that, so you can let go of that. Because I just see so much here. Like my guides are saying, like the 6 of Wands would be upright and the 10 of Earth would be upright if you guys can do this, which is letting go of the resistance and the fear to do with whatever it is. My guides are also saying, because this was already pulled out in the reversed position, you already are in that process of letting go of it. This is just a further encouragement, and it really will flip all of these cards up the right way around. So I'm just actually going to put them like this because they're kind of in a neutral position, and obviously you have free will, and there really is huge free will with Uranus. And to be honest, even Saturn to some extent, I think it's not like Saturn gives free will, but Saturn respects cause and effect, which in some ways you could say is another energy of free will. So Saturn will really be like, well, okay, if you do this and then the net effect is that, then obviously that will happen. You know what I mean? And then because if you do this, you create that, it does still mean that you are using your free will because you had to do an action to create an action. And Saturn always honors that. And Uranus never wants to be told what to want to do, is rebellious, does rebel against authority, wants to be its own true self. So all of those energies, both Saturn and Uranus, are actually encouraging and supporting you in this direction, which is again why I went back to what I was channeling originally about how it's interesting that both of those planets are very much connected because of the rulership with Aquarius, and this Aquarius vibe is so strong with you guys. I would also say, depending on when you watch this video, if you watch it before or if you watch it after, note what was happening for you the week of the 19th of December 2020 and maybe a couple of weeks after that. Note what was happening because there's something about that is kind of significant to this pathway as well. Now, just one second. What can you do about this? Let's see. So we have the Star in reversed and the Page of Wands. Let's see, what can you do about this? Okay, so you know what? This really is, really, whenever I see this, I always think of your North Star. I'm going to put it up the right way around. Basically, it's saying that you have to focus on your future in a slightly different way, which kind of makes sense anyway with everything we were saying. I mean, that's only really what we've been saying anyway, but I suppose that's a way more succinct way of expressing it. For you to get out of this resistance of the fear of the future that you know is your future, it really is about looking at your future in a new way. So if you have fear to do with that future, it's about restructuring it, reprogramming it in your mind in a way that actually reinforces something which is joyful and exciting and will give you so much, like it actually will, and dispels any fears. And my guides are really saying as well that this fear really is a false expectation appearing real, like that acronym of fear. It quite literally is. It is actually an illusion, but you know, there's something about you allowing the momentum of life to push you in that direction. And my guides are saying that this pile will get a number of kickers. So like stimulants, things will happen to help stimulate the direction of you going into this future, which is your future. And it's about you almost like I'm getting this Mars energy again a bit with this pile, and to be fair, Mars is quite active. Well, it is really very active throughout the whole of 2021, because it's the way it interacts with the eclipses, and it's also the way that it interacts with, or two of the eclipses, I think the one in June and the one in November, but it's also the way it interacts with all of the outer planets during this year of 2021. So yeah, it's also about you using the momentum of things to kind of push you forward. You will absolutely be getting guidance in synchronicities, in just internal feelings of stuff. You'll get the sudden Uranus kind of like, boom, I've suddenly got a complete download of what I need to do. And you know what? You just need to go ahead and take the action. So whenever you are getting stimulus from that kind of like, just almost like an intuitive download of something, like it could come from a dream, it could just come from, you know, you're doing something very different, and then all of a sudden you're thinking of this thing and you're getting a whole load of ideas to do with it. It's really about implementing those as soon as you get those ideas. My guides are reminding me of this video I have on my See It Like a Psychic channel to do with the highest potential of Aquarius energy. It describes this type of thing, to be honest. So I think you might find it really, really valuable to look at that, because the universe and life and this astrology of Saturn Square Uranus is absolutely helping you break through and liberate yourself with this. One thing my guides are saying is, whatever happens, don't fall into the trap of allowing whatever happens in 2021 in terms of the bigger kind of global, kind of political, kind of, you know, that kind of thing, to channel your energy. Be careful you don't let your energy get channeled by external things that are going off, and make sure that you keep that energy channeled in your future direction and your highest potential. Because it's almost like I see you've got such a high frequency to do with whatever this is, and it's obviously unique for all of you, that it's almost like it's like highly, I don't want to say volatile, but it's kind of like, because it's so... let me just try and tell you what I'm seeing, because it's quite complex. It's like, because it's so... It's almost like so light. As a frequency, it's so light, because it's such a high frequency, that it's almost like that lightness can just, by some kind of paradox, get like pulled into other areas which are a lot darker, in a way to then light up that darkness. But the truth is that would just be a distraction, because you would be much better to just keep that light to do with whatever you're doing and focus it on the goal and the direction that you have. This is really, really important. I'm just getting this is so important. And I just really, really am getting this leadership vibe with you guys that chose this pile. I'm really, really feeling that. So I don't know in what area of your life it is about stepping up in, because it'll be different for all of you. But literally 2021 is that time, and you really have to honour unique ideas and insights that you get. It's really, really important. And really randomly, but let me just say it, because it will make sense to some of you out there, just be mindful that things like social media don't absorb more of your time or more of your energy in some way. And that's obviously just very, very specific, just for a few of you. Yeah, so just be mindful of that. But I'm also just seeing it as like the media and really what's happening outside of you on a much bigger scale, but an impersonal scale. So, you know, like social media, it's just like, I think, a good metaphor, because it can look like you know everything about a person, but really all you know is exactly what they are wanting to show you. So there's something about it which is very, it is like a bit, it is very illusional, but that's not really the energy that I'm picking up with this. It's more like it's just very, it's very clinically controlled, okay? And there's something about that that is not authentic at all. And for you guys, it's about stepping into the authenticity. By the way, that's not to say that there's anything wrong with, because we all do it, put out a certain way we want things to be on social media. But I don't know, there's something about you just being mindful about, in reality, and people around you, people might get drawn to you because you're going to have this really cool maverick energy. So just be mindful that you are investing your energy in people, situations and circumstances that are what they say they are, and will support you as much as you will obviously want to support them. There's something about that going off. So it's kind of seeing things clearly. So you just want to make sure that you see things clearly. That's really, really important. And I also feel like, sorry, just one second, my guides are just saying something. I'm getting the eyes are really going to be on you as well in some ways. I mean, look at these two pictures here. 2 eyes there, 2 eyes there, 2 eyes there, 2 eyes there. There is a lot going off. And I do really feel as well like you just need to just be mindful about what you're focusing on. Okay, just give me 1 second here because my guys are just saying something. I'll just write this down. Okay. So along with what I was seeing with these eyes here, my guys were just saying this thing about when they say they love your idea, ask more. So that's something that we'll look into as well with that crystal later on. But as well, I just want to just say one more thing, that you guys are... You're absolutely going to be stepping into a space, if you choose to, of really being an authority in a certain area that you hadn't maybe fully accessed yet. So even if you already are an authority, and even if you already are successful, there is something about this that I'm talking about that is different to what you already have. It's like it's expressing an even more authentic part of you. You know, I can feel so much of that is actually going to be potentially happening in the Aquarius energy. You got to remember, when any sign is both positive and negative. So one positive sign of the Aquarius energy, which I do feel is key for all of you, and this is very much like, it's very, very authentic, and it's very, very connected to the collective and basically what it can contribute and how it can bring things together. Now, in the shadow side of Aquarius, it can want to dissociate itself. It can sort of like allow itself to feel isolated even when in a group, and allow itself to feel disconnected even when there is connection. And I just think as well, it's really important that for you to be able to be contributing in the way that you want, that you get really, really clear about whoever it is that you want to be contributing to, if that kind of makes sense. And you know, this like social media things reminding me of this again. It's kind of like, I'm hearing this like 1,000 likes, but what does it really mean? And I think it's about you, and that's just a metaphor, right? So let's forget social media now, but like 1,000 likes, and what does it mean? It's kind of like, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to contribute, just who is it you really want to contribute to do? What is the cause that you really want to contribute to do with? Like, where are you best connecting, and where can you most share your unique outlook on an area of life that will be warmly and lovingly accepted and acknowledged and appreciated, because what you have is of real value. I really couldn't say any of that again. So you kind of get what I mean with that, right? I'm really sort of getting that. And I'm also getting, this is really weird, I'm getting a vision actually of Winnie the Pooh with, you know, like hot air balloons, and holding on to a bunch of them and like floating off into the sky. And my guides are saying the thing is, just give me 1 second, because that is so abstract. 1 minute. My guides are actually saying that, even though probably some of you guys will think this is crazy, but when you're connecting to this real true community and tribe that is an authentic expression of you, there's something about it that's actually going to feel incredibly grounding and incredibly nurturing and incredibly stable and supportive. And my guides are like saying, you'll know if you are contributing in the right area or for the thing that's right for you, because any people that then connect to you through what you are contributing, they will actually make you feel like you have a real place and that you're really achieving some kind of like purpose of something. Whereas you'll find that actually if you're attracting people that don't give you that feeling, it might be a case of just checking in with this that we were talking about, like, you know, the fear of, are you on quite the right trajectory to do this future of your potential? And it might not be that you do actually anything physically different, but it's more like internally, and I'm really getting that with the Ace of Swords for some reason, like internally there is a shift to do with you in that scenario, which then changes everything in the external world. And I know that's like quite cryptic, but that is 100% what I'm getting. Now let me just let's just pull up a few more cards so we can get more information on all of this, because you are quite an interesting pile, to be honest. And like complex is definitely the word, but in a really, really good way. And I just feel like maybe it's complex because I just want to say this, right? No pressure on who you are and what you are. Like, it's all going to blossom. It's all going to blossom in exactly the right time, in exactly the right way. And whatever you're doing, it's all heading in that direction. But just keep trusting and keep allowing yourself to like follow that North Star, that thing that you know is that reason why you're here and that really truly lights you up. And lots of other people will therefore get in alignment with you and find you and literally seek you out without you really even trying, once you get into that state of flow in that way. And it's all completely like that first word that came through before, like perception, perception, perception. This is like the really massive thing that I can feel into with you guys. Let's just get some of these. Whoa. Okay, I'm just getting one more message here. That is so random, but I will obviously explore these further in more detail. But I just got here, your fortune is by the lake. So obviously we'll feel into that. But anyway, here we have joy, music. Then we have, oh wow, love this, the biome, connection. Do you know what? I was waiting for a real connective, collaborative card to come up in this pile, because you know, on the other two readings, it's all really come up, but it's come up very much from the heart space. Like they need to open themselves up to connecting to different perspectives and all of the rest of it. Interestingly, with you guys, I'm feeling like it's more like it's quite literally what we were talking about before. It's opening yourself up to the bigger picture of what is possible for you. So you know, when we talked about the fear of you fearing maybe what really is your future and your highest potential or something to that extent, it's really, really is about you truly opening yourself up to do that. And yeah, we'll go into that anyway in the extended. I need to just write something down. So I'm getting so many messages for you guys. 1 minute. So, sorry, it's just something to do with this card, but we will go into it. So your biome is opening, it's your choice, but we'll go into all of those. And then here we go, these two here. Oh, wow. So we have new moon and we have Saturn. So we'll totally go into that. Saturn definitely wants you to take responsibility for this future within you, this future potential. Just one second. So I just got another word here. It's your offering. And then also we have slave here. This is really interesting as well that you get this, because one thing I think we just touched into lightly before, and I could really feel it, is that you guys are going to come into this place of, like I say, sometimes feeling massively liberated and really free, the Uranus energy, and sometimes feeling really quite restricted and held back, which is the Saturn energy. And that sort of reminds me of this sort of slave type of energy. I do also know that if you're a millennial, so that's something like you're born from 1980 to something like, I don't know, 1995, 1994, I'm not totally sure. I always think most millennials really understand this concept of slavery, and it's why they often have such a natural rebellious attitude to do with authority. Now, obviously here I am generalizing, and obviously this is a general reading. I'm just trying to give you a general flavor, but there'll be something about you guys that are reading this where, you know, you will have felt, you have a reaction to feeling like a slave, like being forced to do things, feeling burdened to do things, feeling obligated to do things. This is definitely an energy that you guys work with, because like I say, I was picking this up earlier. But this year, this transit with Saturn and Uranus, it may bring some of this up to you, and it may trigger it within you at times, but it's purely triggering it within you so that you can release it. And a lot of it really is about being your own authority and not resisting that. And that really is about, it really is about you being your own authority to do with work, to do with your highest potential, or to do with a relationship aspect. So, you know, you might be really in a successful relationship, but you might not be able to have that same sort of authority and authenticity at work or in your life purpose. Or you might be great with your work and your life purpose, but you might not be able to really get that same sort of like authenticity and authority within a relationship. And in your highest potential of a relationship. So it'll be different for all of you. So some of you will end up feeling like a slave to a relationship, or some of you might feel like a slave to a system or a job, or even just like a deep inner knowing of your life purpose. I mean, I totally understand this one. I have at times absolutely felt obligated and like I am being forced to do my highest potential, which I know might sound like so crazy, but what I'm trying to say to you is there's many different ways this energy can work around, but the ultimate dynamics about it is it's about feeling restricted or controlled or trapped in some way. Some of you will resonate with that word about feeling trapped in a relationship or trapped in a job or trapped in a cycle. But definitely this is something that's absolutely going to be worked through this year. So I'm going to leave it at that. We will obviously go into all of these questions. We will channel this crystal here to see what additional insight wants to come through. We'll obviously go into these. So when they say they love your idea, ask more. Your biome is opening, it's your choice, it's an offering, and your future is by the lake. I'm really curious about this one. My guys are so friggin' random, and so are the Akashic Records at times. Then we'll go into music, joy, the biome, slave more, the new moon, and Saturn, and put it all together. So I hope to see you in the extended. And this isn't one that you have to pay for at all. I'll just put a link below or send you somewhere, and then I can send it you through email or something like that. Haven't quite worked it out yet, but I will do. Please check out my other channel, See It Like a Psychic, particularly for, you know, that Uranus, the Aquarius energy, because it completely describes what I said you need to do with this, where you need to go with inspiration and channel it quickly before you lose it. It goes into that in a lot more detail, so I think you'll find that useful. Also, maybe check out the Saturn one, because clearly that's going to be important for this one as well, and it's part of this transit anyway, and I think you might find that really useful. You can also find me on Instagram on Abigail Grace Psychic. That's the same with Facebook. I'll post stuff on there. And yeah, I've got a website if you want to look at any readings or products. But other than that, I will see you soon. Cool. Bye.